Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my question is to the Premier. Speaker, our government was elected to clean up the fiscal mess left behind by the previous Liberal government. For 15 years, there was reckless spending and promises made on the backs of taxpayers in an attempt to simply stay in power. Last June, the people of Ontario voted for change. They voted to end the wasteful spending of the previous government and to get our fiscal house in order. Speaker, that means we need to make tough decisions, which is what responsible governments do. Can the Premier please explain to this House the actions our government is taking to return to balance while protecting what matters most?
Great question. Questions to the Premier.
Well, thank you very much. I want to thank the fabulous, incredible member from Flamborough, Glanbrook. Finally, they have a voice up in Hamilton rather than a bunch of people that want to spend money up there. Mr. Speaker, we were elected again on June the 7th to clean up the financial mess of this province that the NDP and the Liberals created, the $347 billion long-term debt left to the children and grandchildren. Mr. Speaker, you hear him always talking about children and grandchildren. What are we going to leave them? A debt of $347 billion, $13.3 billion interest every single year. Matter of fact, Mr. Speaker, we've been here an hour. It'll cost us $1.5 million on the interest that the NDP left us. You can't continue on with the socialist mentality that the NDP is brought to this province.
Thank you. Thank you. The supplementary question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and back to the Premier. Speaker, when we committed to balancing the books of the government, we also made it clear that we expect our partners to do the same, and we are helping them achieve this. The Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing previously announced $200 million to small and rural municipalities, and our government has announced over $7 million in funding through the Audit and Accountability Fund to help municipalities find 4 cents on the dollar in savings. Speaker, can the Premier please speak further to the announcements he made with the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing yesterday to further our work with municipalities to find savings and bring Ontario back to balance?
Premier.
Through you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the MPP again from Flamborough, Glanbrook. Mr. Speaker, I talked to numerous mayors over the last week. Every single one of them, said, yes, we can find savings. They admitted they can find savings, so they admitted that there's waste. They asked for a little bit more time. We sat down, we said, okay, we're going to extend the runway a little longer. We're going to support you. We'll give you $7.35 million, any of the large urban mayors. We said to the small municipalities that they've taken advantage of, we'll support you with $200 million, because when you find savings, it goes right back into the pockets of the taxpayers. And for 15 years, the taxpayers haven't been respected around here, Mr. Speaker. They've been insulted. All they do constantly is want to tax and spend. Our government doesn't believe in tax and spend. We believe in creating jobs, prosperity, growth, wealth for every single Ontario resident.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.